O Great Spirit, Namaste. Saints and sages of all times, of all places, Namaste. O ye path makers of old, Namaste. Most beloved and precious Ishtadevata, in all of the 1,000 names and forms that humankind has given thee, and yet in thy totality, thy unity, thy oneness, thou art one. We call upon the one to be with us today. We call upon the one to help to sweep clear the confusion of the mind, to sweep clear the emotions of the mind, to sweep clear the fear and confusions of the mind. May our time together be blessed. May it be abundantly blessed, that we too might become an ever greater blessing unto all sentient life. O ye powers that be, may that which we need and that which we think we need blend into one, and may all that is benefic flow through thee to us at this moment. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Namaste ji. Welcome. Welcome to my heart. Welcome to our Sunday Sangha. Today we begin the first in a series of 3 teachings on balancing the emotions of confusion, of fear, and of anger. Let us begin in a land that existed upon the earth, that still exists upon the earth, but existed in a point in time. Once upon a yogi time, there was a land with billions of people living upon it. One day, the rulers were sitting around talking, and they said, we have a problem. Too many people, not enough resources. What do we do? Well, we could expel a few people. That's troublesome. What do we do? We want to make sure that there's enough for each of us in this room, and for our descendants and their descendants. And all of the others are taking too much away from us. So they decided, in their infinite wisdom, that they were going to issue a proclamation. A proclamation. A proclamation is something that's issued by the king or the rulers to, in a sense, to share with the world their thought of the moment. But if you're in power, your thought of the moment has staying power, if we might say. So they issued a proclamation. They said, too many people, one child. Allowed one child. That doesn't sound unreasonable, right? Only there was a problem. In this land, as in many other lands, there was a preference. The preference was for boy children. If you had a boy child, you were guaranteed that your name would continue. Or you thought you were guaranteed your name would be continued. For you were assuming that that boy child would have children, and they would have more boy children. If you had a boy child, your neighbors would respect you. If you had a boy child, your neighbors would hold you in high regard. If you had a boy child, you would automatically become revered in your community. And so what happened? People began to have boy children. You say, well, how does that happen? Oh, you know how it happens. I won't tell you how it happens, but, aside from the basic, how do you have a child? There was sorting done when a woman became pregnant. And most of the time, the children that were born were boys. Now, there was one fellow and his wife, and they had wanted a child for a very long time. They were going to be happy to have a child. And so they did. And it was a girl. It was a girl. They were so happy to have this girl child. They didn't care. They were so happy. They were so joy-filled, and they welcomed her into their home. They loved her. They nourished her. They taught her everything they knew. So she grew up to be a beautiful, loving, kind soul. But in all of the years of her growing up, their neighbors, their friends, all made fun of them. Oh, look at you. You chose to have a girl child. What is wrong with you? Ha! Look at my son. Look at my son. Look at my son. And on and on we went. 10 years go by. 20 years go by. 25 years go by. And all of a sudden, in this land, and in this one tiny community, there are boy children. No girls. No women. No one to marry. No one to have children with. No one to learn from, to share life with. No one to be blessed with the feminine energy of the home. And there rose in the minds of the people fear. Out of their confusion rose fear. What happens now? In all those years, they never said what happens in 10 years and 20 years and 25 years. What happens in the next lifetime? Their emotions were so stirred up. Their greed was so stirred up. Their need was so stirred up that all they saw was their pride that they had this boy child. You can imagine. You can only imagine what happened at 25 years to that family, that beautiful, beautiful family that had the beautiful daughter. And all of a sudden, suitors are lining up at the door, offering money, offering gems, offering jewels, offering anything if she would but marry their son and allow the continuation of their line. Well, what did mom and dad do? They called their daughter in and they said, "We have a problem, dear. We've been saving money. Is there anybody here that you would like to spend the rest of your life with?" She looked around and said, "I don't think so. I don't think so. None of them have been taught anything. They don't know how to love another person. They don't know how to work. They've been waited on their whole lives. Mom and dad, you have me sitting here in the midst of anger, confusion, greed. How can I pick a spouse from this group?" Papa and Mama said, "Don't worry." And in the middle of the night, they snuck off from the village And they traveled a long, long, long way to find themselves in a new land, in a new place, where people had greater self-awareness, where they could live amongst people who had balanced the emotions of their mind, who had cleared the cobwebs of confusion, who had gotten rid of the anger and the fear that rose in their mind. They found themselves in the land of the yogis. And in time, the young woman found someone that she wished to spend her life with. She found her teacher. They did their practices. She found happiness. What about you? Are you living in a land of confusion? Is your universe confused? Is your mind confused? What is the story? A story is of people making a decision at a point in time and failing to say, what happens if I take this decision and I carry it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? What is the result of my decision going to be in 30 years? Most of us, my beloved, don't even think 7 days ahead, a month ahead, 2 months ahead, a year ahead. And we make a change, small change in behavior, without recognizing, oh, this has consequences. This has consequences. So one of the first yogic practices that my guru, Swami Kriyananda, always, I need to stop that, excuse me. One of the first practices that Swami Kriyananda often recommended was in one's daily tarka, one's daily reflection, one's daily interning at a deeper level. That the first question that is asked, the first question is, did any new thought arise today? Did any new behavior arise today? Did any new person come into my life today? What happened today in thought, in word, in deed that is new? It's a very important yogic concept. Because if you see this, you see, the door is opening. There's a karmic door that's opened here. What happens if I walk through that door? How is my life going to change if I walk through that door? Odd, almost close to 50 years ago, I went to get the mail, and there was an envelope. Actually, it was not an envelope. It was a piece of paper folded 3 times over and had a seal on it. And I opened it up, and it was from Swami Pranananda, announcing a new course that he was teaching. And I felt my heart get really fast. I was working full time, and I was going to school. On top of that, I was going to university. And I see this paper, and I think, I turned to my husband, and I said, I have to do this. And he said, you're working full time. You're taking, 3-hour classes now. Are you sure? Oh, yes, I have to take this. And my life changed. I could have taken that piece of paper and tossed it aside. I could have not opened the mail. But my life changed at that moment by responding to the call that I received. Responding to the call. Oh, here's a door opening. I did not know at the moment how it was going to change, but I was drawn. Now you can say, well, that's a heck of a piece of karma. And I would say, yes, it is. It's quite a piece of karma. Because I did not, at the time, stop and say, what is my life going to look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 odd years from now? How is this going to change my life? Because I didn't remember that I needed to do that. I'm telling you now, you need to do that. Every day, stop and do Tarka. Take the time. Some of you are so tired. You're so exhausted by the time you get to the end of your day that you really don't have much clarity of thinking. So what's the answer? You come home from the end of your workday and you change clothes. Hop in the shower first. Hop in the shower. You can say, well, I take a shower in the morning. Wash your face off. Wash your hands off. If you can hop in the shower and change clothes. Very important. Get rid of the vibrations of the day as you come into your home in the evening. Take a breath. Make a cup of hot tea. Sit quietly. Take your journal and go back over your day. Breathe. Meditate. Go back over your day. What new happened today? What happened that's new? What did I see that was different? Again, I'm repeating this so you hear it. What did I see that was different? Who came into my life that was different, that was new? What did I observe that was new? Write it down. Write it down. And then set it aside. Take a few more breaths. And then do deep tarka, deep reflection, deep interning. Is this an important turning point in my life? Is this the thought arising in the minds of the leaders of that land? Only one child. Is this the thought arising in the desires of the people of the land? Oh, boy, children only. Without any thought of what that would mean going forward. An imbalance. And I am not saying boy children or good children are better, girl children are better. That's not the point. The point is the emphasis of one over the other is an imbalance. What is the new thought that's risen in your mind? And where is that road going to lead you? If every day you sit down and you chant the Om mantra 3 times, say you chant once, just once, every day. Close your eyes, focus your attention at the sun center, and you see the Om. Om. Now let's say you wish to add to that, and you add Shanti, 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 sending attuning to the blessing of infinite peace. Only once. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. radiate that. One time, once a day, just once. That's all. In a year, you will have done it 365 times. In 10 years, 3,650 times. Now, what if you decide to do it twice a day, or 3 times a day, or in time you decide to do it 10 times a day? It's following Sri Shailaji's formula. Intensity times duration equals force. You say to me, oh, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do this tarka. I don't have time to do the Om. Okay. Shorten it, shorten it, shorten it, shorten it, shorten it. So that you do have time to fit it in between all the other things that you are doing in your life to keep your life afloat. For this will be a sutra through your life, a thread through your life, a thread through your life of anandic bliss, a thread through your life of attunement to life, a thread through your life of radiating forth peace from within you. You are the center of the circle that you are a part of. So here you radiate that forth just once every day. And what happens? One day you wake up. Oh, I see. Today I'm happy. Today I'm content. Today the confusion is gone from my mind. Now, why am I linking confusion, anger, and fear? There must be a reason, right? Why does one link confusion, anger, and fear? Confusion is the inability, at the moment, an inability to see life as it is. Because you have a veil over your eyes. And the veil is the veil of your preferences. If you're looking at astrology, the veil can be the veil of your ascendant, the way in which you look at the world. But it is the veil of your ego self as it looks at the others. And that veil sometimes obscures the others and always obscures the reality, because it is looking at the reality as if through a very thin slice of pie. If you have an Aries ascendant, then you're looking at the reality as if I am. Everything is about me. Mwah, 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 mwah. I am. If it's Taurus, it's I have. Everything that about life is what I have. Not life, but what I have. Neti, neti, neti. I'm not this thought. I'm not the thought thinking this thought. I'm not thought. If it's Gemini, it's what I communicate, what I talk about, what I communicate, etc. And you go around the entire zodiacal system and you see the filter, the primary filter that is put up in your view of the universe. But what must we do? First is the recognition, well, as much as I don't like to admit it, could be that my thinking is distorted. Could be that there's confusion in my mind. Could be that the language that I am thinking in, the language that I am speaking, does not have a way of communicating clearly the reality. All language has its limitations. Sanskrit is the closest to being a language without limitations. And symbolese, the language that my guru often talked about, symbolese is the word that Kriyanandaji used. And this is the language of the Hora Shastras, the language that helps us to see the symbols of life, and to communicate thus with our consciousness through symbol language. You see symbolism through color. You see symbolism through form, through shape, through sound. And thus, what is communicated is different and distinct than the words that are used. In yoga, we're trying to move beyond the words to a state of consciousness. So we begin with confusion. From confusion pours forth anger. But where does that come from? Why does anger come from confusion? Well, it's really quite simple. In confusion, within confusion, there's a state of consciousness of wanting, my beloved, desiring, wanting. What do you want? A specific object. Or for me, pen. Wanting an object. This is the impulse that arises out of confusion. The second thing, and I think this is really, hear this, because along the spiritual path, one must stop and see this and recognize it and accept it in order to progress anywhere along the spiritual path. And that is wanting others to recognize you or your work. To say, oh, I see you. Oh, you did a good job. Oh, I really like this. How many times people walk down the street and say, oh, I really like your outfit. And so what happens, the result is, they like me. What's the cure to that? The cure to that is saying, it's beautiful, isn't it? Isn't it wonderful how creative people can be? The cure, the beginning of the cure to neutralizing that desire to be recognized is to be able to let go of, consciously, intentionally, let go of my, I, me. You saw me correct myself earlier when I started talking about my guru. Well, it's a very bad habit, and I keep trying to neutralize it. But what causes that? After years, decades of using this practice, of eliminating the use of possessive adjectives, there's still this desire to attune in that specific way. Wanting people to recognize you, wanting to link to others, is a desire to emulate the other, is a desire to be loved, to be accepted, to be approved of. But the problem, my beloved, really, really the problem that we must face is we must be able to say, all right, I am as I am. This cannot be taken from me. We must work diligently at giving others that which they need, genuinely, not falsely, but genuinely. If you see someone doing an act of kindness, that was really very kind of you. You don't have to announce it to the world. I really appreciate what you did. That was very helpful of you. That was very kind of you. Thank you for what you've done to help me. Thank you for your kindness. You see someone who is having difficulty. Something's not going as they wished in their lives. Bless them, bless them, bless them. But, or as the French would say, may. In order to do this, we must cultivate mindfulness. You must cultivate the skill, the capacity to be aware of the thoughts that are arising in your mind stuff at a particular moment without judgment. You must cultivate the capacity to be aware of the thoughts rising in your mind without judgment. You must cultivate the capacity to be aware of the thoughts arising in your mind without judgment. Do you hear? No judgment. Oh, well, they lost their job. They must have done something to deserve that. Netty, netty, netty. Oh, they lost their job. I'm really glad it wasn't me. Netty, netty, netty. Oh, they're sick. How is that possible? They must have done something wrong. Netty, netty, netty. One of the greatest of yoga techniques that we have. Netty, netty, netty. I'm not this thought. I'm not the thought thinking this thought. I'm not thought. You are not suppressing the thought, my beloved. You're not suppressing it. You are neutralizing it. You are neutralizing it. You are neutralizing it. You are removing the capacity of that thought to stay in your consciousness. You're becoming as a piece of wood, if you will, or a piece of cloth, no longer magnetizing that thought. The first one, wanting a specific object, it's, really, let me give you a practice for that, because that's really it's a gross desire, and yet it's really very helpful in terms of a basis for sadhana. And that is to watch your mind every time you see something that you want. And I would say, Kriya often talked about how much more difficult it is for women, because women are expected, if you're born in a female body, there's more of a desiring that comes, because there's a stronger linkage to the moon. But it's the desiring of an object. It doesn't really matter what it is. Some people desire books, some people desire pens, some people desire dresses or earrings or books. I know I've already said that. Obviously, you know where my mind is. Cars. Glasses, conch shells. Watch your mind. Swami Mayananda Mahaswami had a practice which I think is, over the years I have found this practice very, very helpful, but it was her practice. She came up with the practice. Every time she wanted something, and she had exquisite taste, but she would often, she'd want a piece of jewelry. She wouldn't get it. She would leave, come back 3 days later. She wouldn't buy something unless she had waited between her initial impulse and 3 days later to see if it really was something she wanted to bring into her life. She told me one time, when she leaves this earth, and she has left the earth, she left in 2013, the first thing she was going to do was go into the room of all of the forms, all the objects that she had wanted, and let go of the desire for. For she placed them in a room. She placed them in a room. She took everything that she wanted. And she said, here. And she offered it up. Yeah, she still had many, many, many beautiful things in her life. But wanting of a specific object is something that you can control now. It is one of the things as a child grows up that is the very first thing that the child begins to want. You know, you have brothers and sisters and they want the toy that belongs to the other child. And they have temper tantrums because they don't have it. And so we teach them not to have temper tantrums. Now, you know, that belongs to so-and-so. You can't have that. You don't take it from them. And yet we grow up as adults and there's still this desire for a specific object. And so, again, watching the thoughts that rise in the mind will say, well, where does that wanting lead me? The difficulty with wanting a specific object is that there's linked to it the idea that if you don't have it now, you won't have it. If you don't have it now, there's never going to be enough. If you don't have it now, somebody else is going to buy it. Somebody else is going to have it, and there won't be a chance for you to have it. And so there begins to be this greed. There begins to be this greed that comes. And also anger can arise. And with that anger is linked fear. What is the anger? The anger is, I want it now. Wanting is the root base of all anger. And fear is linked to all anger. The two are linked together, and they're linked to confusion. Whatever you want, you may have. It's just a matter of time. May not be in this lifetime. It's just a matter of time. And the concentrated effort of your mind on that one thing. The problem that we have is today you want this pair of earrings, tomorrow you want that car, the next day you want to be this particular, you want to learn this particular thing, and the next day it's that thing. And we go for like this, all over the place. No wonder there's confusion. So the practice is Tarka. Begin with Tarka. Now I have given you a number of practices this morning. I'm giving you a number of practices. The wanting of a specific object. Let it go. Use Mayanandaji's practice. Not now. Later. Not now. Later. The second one, wanting people to recognize you or recognize your work. I'm going to ask you to use this week and ask yourself, observe your consciousness, observe your thoughts. How often do you want the approval of people you don't even know? How often you walk down the street and somebody says, oh, you know, you look really nice, or, oh, I saw that you did that, oh, that's really nice, or, oh, you know, you really messed that one up. One of the biggest problems we have today with social media is people opining on what they think is the thoughts of another or the behavior of another, and then becoming hurt about it. Why should your mind be hurt that someone is emoting? They're out of balance. They're emoting. They don't like your hair. As when I was in Toledo in Spain, and a woman looking at my hair, the color of my hair at the time, saying, she had dyed her hair very dark, and she said, you know, we don't do that here. I can show you a good beautician while you're here. And I said, pardon me? And she took her hair. We don't do that. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting that this woman who had never seen me before, who I had just met, who was a tour guide, felt that it was appropriate to say to me, you need to do something about the color of your hair. Now, I could have been offended by it. I found it fascinating. I found it, and I still do, I find it absolutely fascinating that someone would want something to be exactly the way they want it in such a strong way that they would feel compelled to opine on another's behavior, another's looks, if you will. Isn't that interesting? And so, confusion, wanting something, leads to anger. Desire is the root cause of all anger. And not having what you want when you want it leads to fear. And the last thing I'm going to say about that today, this is the first part, as I said, of 3 teachings on this. I want leads to I want it now. That is really the most dangerous of all, right? The idea that I want it now. We must control the impatience of the mind. You can have anything that you want. It's just a matter of the right time, the right preparation, and the right way. Now we will move into a meditation now. But before we do that, I would like to let you know that next Sunday, the 27th of October, at beginning at 11:45, we will have mantra, and we will have our annual blessing for the departed. And I will be sending you a note about this, but I hope that you will join in that blessing. It is one of the most beautiful, joyful, sacred times that we have of the year. The time when the Swamis ordained through the temple of Kriya Yoga, the Swamis when spiritual seekers the time when spiritual seekers of the Kriya Yoga tradition come together and bring our spiritual energies together to honor all of those who have left the earth before us. Your spiritual energy, your tapas, makes a difference. You have the capacity to bless those who have gone before. And I do invite you and hope that you will join us as we do that. I need not to tell you that there's a great deal of needs. There are a great deal of needs in the world at this time. And as we move into this meditation, I wish to say to you, remember your own goodness. Remember your own capacity to give your blessings to others. Let go at this moment of your desires to be accepted by others, to be approved of by others. Let go of it. Use your spiritual energy to send your blessings unto life. You have the capacity to do this. You can do it. Let us choose to do this together. Namaste. Namaskar. Sit with your spine erect. Sit with your hands in the Om Mudra, the index finger and the thumb together. the hands cupped upward upon your thighs. As you are able, sit with your spine erect and turn your head to the left, exhaling twice. Bring the head back to the center and begin to watch the breath. Using the sipping breath, sipping as if through a straw, pull the energy from the limbs to the trunk. And now from the trunk to the spinal column. And now from the base of the spine to the sun center. Move that energy as a golden ball of light out in front of you. Expand that light and sweep around your body counterclockwise 3 times, encasing your entire being in golden light. Expand that golden light. And now ascend. Ascend as high as you are able. Above the room, above the continent, above the earth plane. Ascend to the high realms. Reaching the grove of the meditators. Find yourself in a comfortable meditation place. In front of you, there's a mountain. Halfway up the mountain, you see a blue light shining. A brilliant blue light calling to you, streaming down from the mountain. Creating a path for you to ascend. You follow the blue light as it draws you, as it beckons you up the mountain. You ascend with ease. The blue light shines brighter and brighter and brighter. You reach a cave The blue light shines brilliantly from the cave. The outside is lit, the inside is lit. You are beckoned to come in. The light is calling you. The blue light of self-awareness is calling unto you. You breathe in the light. The light pours down upon you. You walk into the pools of light. Light shining brighter and brighter and brighter, until you stand directly under the stream of light, the waterfall of light pouring down upon your crown center, pouring over you, through you, within you. Filling every being, every cell of your being with self-awareness, with the blue light of self-awareness. Sweeping clear the confusion. Sweeping clear the anger. Sweeping clear the fear. Breathe in the light. Feel yourself filled with the light. Ascend to the light. Walk forth from the light, breathing in the blue light of self-awareness, filled with the blue light of self-awareness, leaving the shrine cave, returning to your place, your high place of meditation. O ye powers that be, join with us as we send forth our meditative prayers. we ask thee to sweep clear the path. Thou knowest better than we the needs. Thou knowest better than we the karma that can be softened. We call upon thee at this moment as we send forth our meditative energies to soften the karma of the earth plane, that be better dealt with, that it be easier, that it be more harmonious. Dissolve away the hurt, dissolve away the confusion, the anger, the fear. In your mind's eyes, see Mother Gaia, Mother Earth. Let us use the Om Shanti mantra to send forth the golden light upon Mother Gaia, around her, through her, upon her. Send forth your blessings, your gratitude that we are here upon Mother Earth, that she will have that which she needs to rebalance, to heal, to continue to hold us upon her in our reincarnations, in our incarnations. Let us chant the Om Shanti mantra 3 times. Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For all of those who are living with water insecurity, with food insecurity, with housing insecurity, with economic insecurity, with health insecurity. Again, 3 times the Om Shanti mantra. O ye powers that be, sweep clear the path, ease the karma, soften the karma. Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For all of those who are living with sickness of body, sickness of mind, sickness of environment, may they be healed. Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. O ye powers that be, thou knowest better than we that which is needed Thou knowest better than we the suffering, the pain, the difficulties, the confusion, the fear, the anger upon the earth. We ask Thee to soften the karma, to dissolve away these emotional conditions, that there be Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. That for a nanosecond these conditions be neutralized, that the light be seen, that Ananda be reality, that the reality of Anandic bliss be revealed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We call upon Thee to help those who are leaving this earth, to bless them, to remind them of their good deeds, remind them of their goodness. Take hold of your goodness. Take hold of your good deeds. May you and your helpers be blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Hum Jum Saha, Om Bhurbhuvasvaha, Om Triambakam Yajamahe, Sugandim Pushtivardhanam, Urbarukamiva Bandhanan, Mrityor Mukshi Hamamritata, Svaha Bhuva Bhur Om, Saha Jum Hum Om. For all of those souls entering the earth, remember Thy goodness. Bring with Thee the memory of Thy goodness. Grow Thy goodness in your next incarnation. May you and all of your helpers be abundantly blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Most beloved Ishta, in Thy thousand names, Thy thousand forms, created thus by men, in the one wisdom, the one reality that Thou art, we call upon Thee and ask that Thee send forth Thy blessings unto us. May that which we need and that which we feel that we need merge into one, that we might be blessed and become an ever greater blessing unto all life forms. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Namaskar. Namaste, Ji. I thank you for your blessings, for the blessings of your wisdom, for your spiritual energies. Namaste. Your presence does make a difference. You do make a difference.